right.
Are you ready?
Are you shouting at me, Rick?
I am.
Welcome.
Are you buckled in?
I'm buckled.
F1 style, buckled in?
F1. I wish we
Okay.
could get some sound effects from F1 on our podcast here.
I'm actually working on sound effects.
Sweet.
Yep.
And I'm working on making the plug it from a few episodes back
Plug it.
a real thing. It's been a little hard, but
With that being said, let's get into the second ever overtime episode of Cancer Specialist Medical Minute.
Welcome back to the Pod Loft, everyone. We're happy to have you here. I'm Danny.
Danny's going to take this one solo.
And this is Rick. And that's Dr. Rick.
So, Danny, do you have a joke for me?
I don't have a joke for you, Rick.
you
Unless
sure?
you really want one.
I would love one.
Okay, let me get my book out. I put it back in my briefcase. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
For the listeners out there, he is struggling to find his joke book. He has found it. He is flipping through pages, and he has settled on one with a smile on his face. And action.
Why was the music student kicked out of school?
For celloing?
For taking notes. Boom.
Why would you get kicked out of school for taking notes? That joke.
You wouldn't actually.
Yeah, that joke's
yeah,
not
so it's
based.
not a good
You would
joke.
be rewarded for taking notes. That seems.
He's taking the joke literally.
can we get another one, please?
Yeah. Let's go. Joke number 2, guys. I like doing these kind of randomly because it's more
We know you like doing them. You could have just stopped there and not added in randomly.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Why did the yoga go to the art exhibit?
Why did the I'm not sure.
Because he was cultured.
It's better.
Boom.
It's better.
There it is. All right. So, sports recap update. Rick, you talk first. We're getting late into our overtime
Holy
here.
smokes! How are we ever going to record the intros?
Yeah.
This is going to be bad.
She's going to have to edit that.
So,
Or not. You can keep it in.
I think I don't know.
I think you can keep
I think
it.
we're just gonna wing it.
so I think the
Rick was talking about the Olympics.
Yeah, I think the two biggest things are the NBA
The
finals
Olympic
ended,
singular.
and now the Olympics. I think is whether you care about the Olympics or not. NBC is going to make sure you know what's happening.
They will. Yeah. What do you want to talk about first? Olympics or NBA finals?
We can briefly touch on the NBA finals. Danny, do you have any
That came first, so we'll talk
thoughts
about it.
coming out of that series with Giannis
I was happy for Giannis. I was happy for him.
taking over the crown potentially as
Yeah, it's hard to judge after one finals appearance.
arguably the
But yeah, but he was dominant, and we know he's a dominant player. From the get go, he's almost 7 feet and can pretty much score on anyone. So I think the true test is, can they repeat next year with a healthy Nets team? But health isn't guaranteed, as we know in this NBA.
I think it was good for the sport to have a guy who, this is the team that drafted him. He stayed, helped build the organization, and then through some good drafting and good front office management, they were able to put a team together to win. And again, everyone wants to hate on it because, they've obviously a lot of teams got injured along the way. People forget Giannis got injured in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's sports. Could play, teams are going to get injured. You can only play who's in front of you. And, if everyone started nitpicking over titles, the Pats would probably have a lot less.
I like looking at the takes about.
That was rude.
That's a drive.
Yeah,
that's a drive-by, by the way, for my Boston fans.
That was
So I like the takes of people who said Bucks were going to make it through versus the Suns and Chris Paul and that whole argument. And I kind of felt like the people who were on the Bucks train from the beginning and people who picked the Bucks to beat the Nets, who said they did from the get-go, I kind of put a big question mark on that because I remember a lot of the sportscasters saying with a healthy Nets team, I didn't have anyone picking against the Nets from the get-go.
I mean, sports talk
Yeah.
is, even though we're doing it now, so I guess I have
Yeah.
no room to talk. It's like weathermen.
Oh, yeah.
They're most often wrong.
Oh, yeah. But then people always like one-upping each other for
Hot
saying
takes.
the wrong thing.
Hot takes.
Yeah, so.
So the Olympics, what's your go-to sport in the Olympics?
I mean, you can't help but follow the gymnastics because they're always so dominant. So it was a little disappointing, and hearing about Biles and dropping out and stuff. But I mean, they still won silver, I think, in the all-around, right? So
And the individual gold, I think.
the individual gold, yeah.
fifth in a row. for the
It's
women.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, they're always so dominant. So I always try to follow that. Yeah, basketball following. I'm not sure where we're at right now. We beat Iran, and then who did?
I think
who
we
did
play the Czech Republic maybe
Next,
coming up,
yeah.
and then that's to get out of. If we win, we're out of group play
Yeah.
and get into the tournament.
So I think that's exciting. Those are probably the two. Now that we have YouTube and we can watch clips of anything we want, or even on regular TV. So I've watched some kind of clips of some archery and some
Nice.
shooting and different things that I would never check out if we didn't have little clips for them. So I think it's all pretty cool to watch because everyone gets pretty pumped up for their individual sports. So as long as they're short clips, I can't watch 30 minutes of archery. I don't know about you, Rick.
No, I'm not a big. I don't know. Don't really. The Olympics don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Very little investment in it.
Yeah. I mean,
The
we
three
love
on, the 3-on-3 basketball is pretty cool. I've been watching that just because I didn't know how they set it up. So that was pretty just crazy to watch. It's a very different sport. It was fun to watch. And then I think one of the saddest things about this Olympics is the part that you can't have fans for the golf because you had Hideki Matsuyama, who won the Masters this year, Japanese hometown hero, greatest golfer in Japanese history, gets to play in front of his own crowd, and then there's no crowd. So
Yeah.
to me, that's like the saddest of the biggest regrets of not having fans would have been really cool to see him return home and
Yeah.
as the Masters champion and hopefully for him winning an Olympic gold would have been pretty cool.
I think there are professional athletes that thrive with the crowds, that play better when there's crowds and ones that don't. But yeah, golf, I think I caught the first round a little bit. I didn't watch any after that. And there were so many, there were a number of people that had to drop out because of COVID. So yeah, it's just not quite as interesting to watch everything through anymore without the crowds, without having, some main, people in the events. So, but yeah, I've caught random events just here or there just for clips. What's
I feel
coming
like
up?
it's all about following like which athlete is like.
Yeah.
Like I love watching swimming, but it's so weird not having Phelps
Yeah.
there this year.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
kind
like
of
my opinion on why Formula One, the show, is so important is because you get invested in the people, and that's why you watch.
Mhm.
You're not watching. I'll always watch basketball because I love basketball, no matter who's playing. But in general, for people to get invested, especially in a sport you don't normally follow, you have to have the people, and you have to be invested in the story and the character. And I think we're missing some of that in this Olympics. It feels like, at least anecdotally. To
It
me.
was it was like I don't think it was last Winter Olympics. I think the one before when our curling team won gold. And I don't know if you guys are on Facebook, but the NBC Facebook Olympics page, like whoever's been running that
Yeah.
isn't running it anymore. They were so funny, and they would always post like memes and just like hilarious stuff that really got people involved.
Right.
And so when the curling team was going for gold, and who cares about curling? And everyone was so invested because like the guys were just so cool, and the page made it so much fun, and just they look like a bunch of dads
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And so it was just like I remember watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like so invested in this stupid rock on ice. Like,
That's awesome.
like what? It
Sounds
is
like to
the
me you're
people.
just trying to pump up social media and how a person who's very adept at handling social media can make a big difference. Is that what you're getting at, Brenna? Because
Yes.
I feel like that's what you're...
Yes. Yes. Shout out to myself.
Yeah.
As,
People
Expert.
can't see it. Brenna's actually breaking her shoulder, patting herself on the back right now.
not just a podcast producer, but also the marketing department. So
Shameless plug.
Shameless
there it is.
plug.
There it is.
You missed... Are you serious?
Plug it.
There.
Complaining again about something.
Hey.
hey, he was here 10,
He was early.
15 minutes early today.
He was early.
Well...
Thanks, Albany, for blocking off his schedule.
Oh, I see
Thank
a
you.
typo. Overtime number 2, first line of the outro. Thanks so much for tuning into our first overtime episode. And
It's
you had,
our
And you had
second.
Danny say it.
I
so
would have
that-
read it verbatim.
What I'm saying is
Verbatim.
that was
I've got
misstep.
Listen.
got a little Ron Burgundy in me.
Listen, go.
So thank you guys for listening. Again, not really sure other than Keith who was clamoring for our sports takes, but there they are. We will be back with our regularly scheduled programming next week where we can hopefully provide information on things we actually have some knowledge of as opposed to just talking out of our you-know-whats.
Keep the questions coming, guys. We're excited to hear from you and excited to talk with you at our next episode.